Welcome to NAN Villa Weekly Review. Governor Charles Soludo of Anambra has reaffirmed strong support for President Bola Tinubu's bold economic reforms aimed at stabilizing and reviving Nigeria's economy. Soludo spoke to State House correspondents after meeting Tinubu at the presidential villa, Abuja. He said his support for Tinubu transcends party lines because the reforms aim to return Nigeria to a sustainable growth path.
I'm impressed by the bold steps he has taken, particularly in the areas of the economy, the structural reforms. And I have said so severally. We're taking the right steps. We only need to stay the course.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a 7-year moratorium on the establishment of new federal territory institutions. Dr. Tunji Alausa, Minister of Education, announced the approval after a FEC meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa, Abuja. He explained the ban applies to all federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education.
We have institutions, universities that had more staff than students. But today, we've put a total stop to that. We will now invest these funds.
Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, says President Bola Tinubu deserves credit for stabilizing Nigeria's economy through bold reforms. She spoke with State House correspondents after a closed-door meeting with the president at the presidential villa, Abuja. Okonjo-Iweala noted the government's efforts to steady the economy as a key step in building long-term growth.
We think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy.
Stakeholders in Nigeria's cocoa industry have pledged to accelerate efforts to meet the European Union's December 2025 deadline for compliance with its deforestation fee regulation. This, according to them, is with a view to safeguard the nation's cocoa exports and strengthen sustainable agricultural practices. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that the stakeholders made the pledge at a roundtable on EUDR compliance held at the banquet hall of the presidential villa in Abuja. The roundtable was convened by the Office of the Vice President in partnership with EU representatives, cocoa-producing states, and private sector stakeholders.
The government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu (GCFR) remains committed to agricultural sustainability, value addition, and global trade standards compliance.
President Bola Tinubu has announced plans for Nigeria's first-ever National Industrial Manpower Development Policy. Tinubu, represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, announced this in his keynote address at the opening of the National Industrial Manpower Summit (NIMS) 2025 at the State House Conference Center, Abuja. The theme of the summit was Manpower Development, the bridge between potential and productivity.
This summit speaks directly to the dilemma that has held this nation to ransom for far too long. It is an opportunity to confront the difference between our economic aspirations and our current realities, and to take stock of what we have done to unplug the Nigerian youth from the despondency of the past.
President Bola Tinubu has assured that by 2030, Nigeria will start producing 10 million tons of liquid steel. Tinubu, represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, made this known at the inaugural Stakeholders Summit on the development of the steel sector in Nigeria held in Abuja. The Nigerian leader, however, implored the private sector to join hands with the government in revamping the sector, saying the government cannot actualize the plan alone.
We aim to create over 500,000 direct and indirect jobs. We have already developed a 10-year roadmap for the sector. We have outlined a 3-year plan for the operationalization of Ajaokuta. These plans focus on infrastructure, regulatory reform, and capacity development.
The federal government has announced a new national skills program aimed at connecting 20 million young Nigerians to jobs, training, and entrepreneurship opportunities by 2030. Vice President Kashim Shettima said this during the inaugural board meeting of Generation Unlimited Nigeria held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He said at least 60% of beneficiaries are expected to be women. Shettima, who is the chairman of the reactivated Board of Generation Unlimited, described Nigeria's youthful population as the nation's superpower and comparative advantage in a rapidly aging world.
What we need is a systemic change, a new architecture that is built to last. It is with this resolve that I present to you, for this board's consideration and endorsement, the Digital Access and Livelihoods Initiative, DALI.